Hey everybody! We are looking at the respiratory system now. And here's a picture of Usain Bolt using his respiratory system as he wins another gold medal. So we're looking at the structure of the respiratory system, which just means what organs are in there and a little bit of information about what they do. But mainly what they are and what they look like. So the structure. And remember, the other word for structure is just anatomy, if you ever see that. Anatomy means the shape and the size and where everything is in the body. Alright, here is our respiratory system. Remember, the job of the respiratory system is to exchange gases. It takes in oxygen, because our cells need oxygen to survive. And then it takes out carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide is a waste that's made from our cells. And we need to get rid of all the wastes. So carbon dioxide out and oxygen in. Alright, let's look at these organs. So the first organs in the respiratory system are the nose and the mouth. Pretty obvious. This is where the air starts. This is where air comes into our body when we breathe in. So then once air reaches the back of our throat here, it goes past this organ, which is called the epiglottis. And the epiglottis, it's also over here. It's this organ up here. It's a really amazing organ because it's basically like a little flap. So when we breathe in, it flaps open to allow the air to come through down into our lungs. But then when we swallow and we need to eat food, the flap closes across and it opens up the esophagus to make sure the food goes down our esophagus. And that's what happens when you choke. If the epiglottis doesn't quite close properly, then food can go down the beginning of your windpipe. And that's why you start to cough when you're choking. So the epiglottis makes sure the air goes down the right pipe and the food goes down the esophagus. And the right pipe that the air needs to go down is this next one here, which is called the trachea. So the epiglottis opens, air goes down the trachea, and then it branches off into one of these two organs here, and these are called bronchi. Bronchi. That's the plural, but the singular version is bronchus. Bronchus. And then once air goes through the bronchi, it goes into each lung. So we all know where our lungs are. This is where the carbon dioxide goes out and where the oxygen goes in through these cells in the lungs. So the air goes into each lung and then it goes through these smaller branches. And these are just called bronchioles. So basically smaller versions of the bronchi. Smaller branches where the air goes through. And then lastly, the air gets to the very end of the bronchioles, and these are branches that look like a tree almost. And then at the end of each branch is a little sac of cells. Looks like a bag of tennis balls, basically. And these are called alveoli. And this is a zoomed in version of the alveoli here. So you can see they look like little sacs, almost like bunches of grapes. And that's because once the air reaches here, there's a whole lot of cells that absorb the oxygen and carry it away into the body. And then all the carbon dioxide that reaches here gets taken back into the bronchioles and then back out through the mouth and the nose. So the alveoli is where the gas exchange actually happens. Well, the last organ, it doesn't actually have air passing through it, but this is how we actually breathe. So it's a muscle, and this organ is called the diaphragm. You might have done diaphragm exercises before, or practicing your breathing exercises. You're controlling a diaphragm when you do this. So it's just the muscle that that pushes up or releases to allow us to breathe. All right. The last thing to look at is the fact that different body systems are linked together as well, and they work with each other to do common jobs. So body systems work together. And if we're looking at the respiratory system here, we know that it takes in air so that we can get oxygen in. So once oxygen reaches the lungs, it goes into the alveoli, and then it goes into blood vessels in the circulatory system. So it goes to there, in the lungs, it goes to here, and then it starts to be carried back to the heart, and then the heart pumps all that oxygen around the body to all our other organs and tissues and cells that need it. Through all of our limbs, so all our cells can get oxygen. So the respiratory system works really closely with the circulatory system. They're linked together. All right, that is the structure of the respiratory system.